so that's going to be fun, but we have probably at this point told you everything that we can, that we're allowed to tell you about that. So, so if you ask us questions during the Q&A about Star Wars, we'll probably have to say, we'll have to refer you to the We Can't Speak About It portion of the program.
If you ask a Star Wars question, security will roughly throw you.
Right. But if you guys have any questions, you can, you know, line up.
There's the mic.
Run, children, push the grown-ups aside. Use the Force if you must.
Let those children through.
Will you guys make an episode so we can find out how Perry became a secret agent?
We've talked about doing a Perry origin story, but we sort of have a little bit of it in the Second Dimension movie. He was assigned to them when he was a very, very little, you know, sort of a platypus puppy version.
We should do our research. Find out what they're called.
Yes.
Young platypus.
Yeah. And so he was assigned to them when he was a little puppy and they were little kids. And, but we don't know how he actually got.
A serious answer to your question is we get asked about that a lot. We do try to preserve Perry as a platypus of mystery. And our feeling is if you find out too much about him, he loses some of that. So we struggle with those things.
First off, thank you for creating what is by far one of the best written animated shows on TV. Now, Dan and Jeff, as creators of the show, were you also your first choices for the voices of Doofenshmirtz and Major Monorail?
I wanted Brad Pitt originally, and
we were our first choices. I'm not sure whether we were necessarily Disney's first choices, but no, actually they were very good about it. They actually suggested me as Doofenshmirtz because I pitched it, and they sort of fell in love with that voice. In the pilot, I think, were you Major Monogram, dude?
Yes, I was.
Yes, and so Swampy took these, because Swampy was in the UK when we were making the pilot, so we couldn't have him come in and do the voice,
but it was weird. We did have to go through the audition process, and we were auditioning people to sound like us.
Yeah.
So at the end,
and nobody sounded like us more than us.
We were killing it. Sounding like us.
But you mentioned how well written the show is, and I wanted to bring up that point because it really is. It is a beautifully well written show. As the clips that they showed you at the beginning of this can attest, I mean the amount of laughs that they were getting through that. I think of like sitting through a movie that I think was funny, and how many times, you know, within a minute or within a half an hour do I laugh. And it's not nearly as much as with watching this show on TV. This is much funnier.
And that's why D. Bradley Baker has a job with us.
Finally, I think you would make us the happiest panel in the entire world if we all got a shout out on Duke Daily.
Okay, we'll do that.
You've got it.
I was at Comic-Con earlier.
We didn't say it out loud before.
Dr. Who.
But Dietrich is also the voice of Albert, Irving's older brother on the show, so he's a regular character. He's not now, but
So I'm just wondering what kind of creative process you go through to figure out how Perry's going to get trapped when he's trying to fight Doofenshmirtz, because I mean there's everything from the classic net. And then there's like a baby walker.
It goes from both ends of the spectacular spectrum, from just, you know, here's a clamp on your ankle to, you know, an enormous machine with a hydraulic thing, and it's really just whatever the board artists come up with for that. We don't usually dictate that to them. As long as they get a laugh out of it, they can do whatever they want. That's, you know, that's basically the whole process is them trying to make us laugh and trying to make the other people laugh. And
In the process of the writing, the writers and animators actually work together? Because I know in a lot of different productions they'll have an animation house like away.
Yeah, like on The Simpsons, the writers were in an entirely different city from us.
Wow.
But here we really try to make it as collaborative as possible, because there's writers who write the outline, there's storyboard artists who are also writers who write the dialogue while they're putting it together. Then we put it in a room and we get everybody in the room and we rewrite it in there. And we just keep working it until we think it's funny, and then
but the animators are in that room. The animators are in that room.
No, you never limit where you can get funny from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a remarkably collaborative process making things like this. I mean, like often as a voice actor, you'll get credit, you know, for being that character and how funny it is or whatever. But it's like, you know, I do that part of that, or we do that part of it. But there's the writing, there's the animating, there's the boarding, there's the music, the song. There's all of these hundreds of people, this army of artists and technicians who come together to make every frame work together so beautifully. So it's everybody together, really.
Hi.
As we saw in the last episode, or one of the latest episodes, and in the clip, you showed that Stacy found out that Perry was an agent. Will you be playing off of that?
We now have that in our arsenal, so we can pull it out when we need it to you know, if she's if it helps to have her help him in some way, we can, you know, we have somebody that knows that it's him.
And we can leave it to the writers and the board artists to throw that in there whenever they feel like it. So we're waiting to be surprised by that, just like you are.
We should have had 2 microphones.
Yeah. Hi.
Kid size.
Actually, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Question one is, when is the live action show going to be coming back to California anytime soon, or do you not know that?
They're on hiatus
for the
now.
time being.
We don't know when they're coming back with that. So.
Okay. And
But you should write Feld Entertainment.
Feld Entertainment, right? They will have it.
Right. And my other question is, when are we going to expect a return to the second dimension?
We have an episode coming up probably 6 months from now or something that is a return to the second dimension. We have a half hour. It's hard to takes place in the second dimension.
Will I get to talk in this one?
Maybe.
You sang a song in the last one.
Cut out my storyline.
We did cut out.
Vanessa was in the second dimension movie, and
You were wonderful.
if you get the DVD, her scene that we ended up having to cut, which we loved the scene as it became so long, is on the DVD as one of the actors.
One second, sorry. Are there any updates that you can give us on the theatrical film?
We can. One of those things.
Short answer.
Because we don't know.
We're playing a lot.
Hi, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
So first, I thought that the clip for the superhero episode was really harsh because there's no girl superheroes in it.
That's a point that Candace and is developing. They have sort of a storyline where they're realizing that, you know, it's like, oh, the girl superheroes showed up, so it's all this testosterone and fighting, and you know, so we make a point of that.
It's a big part of the story, so
That's
it's
a really
why. So that is
Don't
very
worry, girl.
observant.
I'm not gonna lay down. And then my second question is, will Candace ever stop busting?
She will stop busting it. Well, eventually she'll grow out of it, I'm sure, as they become adults and are no longer being grounded. But you know, we get a lot of humor out of it for the show. So I think for the time being, we'll keep her busting.
I am very excited because I have been waiting a year to ask this question, plenty since the last panel. I was wondering, like for Dan and Swampy, you have so many different storylines that are going on in each episode. You have the Doofenshmirtz plot, you have the Phineas and Ferb plot, usually there's like Candace plot and how they all come together. Of all of those, what's the hardest one to write or figure out the ideas for?
It might well be the Phineas and Ferb is the hardest to keep fresh because they're having to do something really spectacular every day. And the thing with Phineas and Ferb is that their plot is really sort of the setting. It's not really the story. The story is more what Candace is doing or what Doof and Perry are doing because those characters actually change and Phineas and Ferb never have any real problems. Nothing goes wrong for them. They're sort of the Ferris Bueller of the show. And so what they're doing is just sort of the background noise that sort of frames the show, and trying to keep that big and fresh is usually I think the more difficult.
The crossover between those, where the storylines intersect, is hard. And one of our board artists, Leaky there, way to the. I can tell you, that's one of the trickiest parts, is to find out how one affects the other in a way that's fresh and believable. So.
How did convention make these
Yes.
verbs disappear?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello, my question is for Dan and Swampy, and first of all, I just want to thank you for all the cartoons you've created together, back to Rocco, and I've just been watching all your stuff in my life. I just adore it, and thank you for making family-friendly shows that everyone can enjoy together.
I never got that comment.
My favorite part of every episode is always the song, and I love the musical episode as well as the created language episode where it's very musical. I was wondering if you're going to be creating another full-length musical episode?
Well, we've got some hour-long specials that we're putting as many songs into them as we can. We're not doing another one that's specifically a musical where it's just like every couple of phrases there's a song for like a big cue up for a song. And I think that we did Roller Coaster again because we felt everybody was familiar enough with Roller Coaster that we didn't have to it wouldn't feel like we're having to tell a new story and throw 30 songs into an 11-minute show.
We should do a rock opera.
We may well do a rock opera at some point. We've talked about that at several points, so it's possible. We don't really
I think we can say this. We have a virtual CD dropping, as they say in the music business soon. I don't have more details, but check your iTunes and whatnot.
Yeah, we're doing volume 3 of the soundtrack.
Hi, my name is Chris, and this is for Dan and Swampy as well. I'm trying myself to get into animation. I know it's difficult, it's hard, it's tasking. It takes about 6 hours just to draw about 10 seconds for me. And something I want to know is, like, what advice would you give me to become better at doing stuff like not just like animating, but also creating cartoons in general?
Right. What we always say is just draw, whenever you can. For young artists, I always recommend 2 books, very strongly. I recommend How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way by Stan Lee. Which is,
Still have that on my shelf and still use it.
It's just everything about perspective, everything about composition, everything about making the drama of a scene work is so transferable to any kind of cartoon that you would want to do. It's not just superhero cartoons. And the other is Preston Blair's animation book. If you get those 2 books and just read them and understand them and absorb them, that will help you along the way, because almost everything that I do in animation I can sort of trace back to those 2 books.
And it's there's so much I've read now about it's just the volume of drawings you do. The more drawing you can do, the better you will get. It's that, memory, sense memory for your muscle memory. So throw away your eraser, get a big Sharpie, draw with that, and just keep on drawing. And create stacks of drawings.
Everybody's got a couple thousand bad drawings in them, so the more you draw, the more you get those out of the way.
Yeah.
If I could throw in a quick plug, if you're interested in voice acting, I've got a website that's called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and that has all of the information and advice that I have about becoming a voice actor. Also, Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt have a great book of VO voice acting that's got a lot of good information too. So anybody who's interested in that line of career, check those out too.
So I also have two things. So why is it that Doofenshmirtz Creations always have to ruin Phineas and Ferb's?
Well, they don't actually always do it. More often than not, that's sort of the best way to have them intersect. We just, our edict is that somehow those two stories have to intersect, because otherwise why are we telling two different stories? So sometimes you think it's going to destroy it, and then it gets destroyed some other way. We have to get rid of what Phineas and Ferb are doing, or Mom will see it. So that, that's usually the easiest way.
And that way tends to make us laugh.
And he has that balcony, so and for some reason everything's always pointed right at their backyard. It's just...
Are you allowed to do like a quick dialogue of like one of the episodes you've already done that's like on TV already?
I don't know if we're allowed to. I think we're allowed to, but we probably can't remember any of them.
I think there's strict rules against that.
What kind of rules?
Very strict.
Whatever Phineas wants, I want.
Anything there? I was going to give you that baleful stare, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't have anything to say to you.
See, that's always just... One from B here. Let's give a pin.
Big fan of the show. Any chance to see Stan Lee make an appearance in the Marvel crossover?
There's a bit of a chance. Stan Lee.
Yes.
I'd say it would be a very strong issue. So yes.
That was our one demand, is that we had to have a cameo from Stan Lee.
I got a great picture that I put up on my my Twitter page, because the day that he came in, we were both wearing white pants and white shoes. The white pants, white shoes brigade. It was really cool.
When he was leaving the studio, I was actually coming in to record, and I stopped and I said hello to him, and I got an extra wave when I was talking to him, and I was like, it's incredible to meet you, I'm so happy you're able to do this. And he's like, well, I was really excited to get to work with you, because, I mean, Phineas is a real superhero. And I was like,
When is the Star Wars episode coming out?
We think it's probably summer of next year, something like that. It takes us a while to animate it, so it's probably about a year away.
So much work to do.
It's mostly written.
Hi, I just wanted to say three things. Well, I know how Doofenshmirtz I know how he gets all his fans, because I'm a big fan of Phineas and Ferb, and I just wanted to say that I really like how Doofenshmirtz sometimes fails, but I really like his inventions. They look very cool.
Oh, excellent.
Future scientist, right?
It's one of the most fun things to do on the show is to sit around and think of Doofenshmirtz inventions, because it gets really silly. So we enjoy that as much as you do.
What was that one? The tree falls in the forest, you think?
Yeah, because when the tree falls, it makes the sound different.
So finally, we'll get the answer to that age-old question.
Hi, I have two questions. Since it passed 104 days, do you think you're going to change the theme song?
No, we're just going to stick with it the way it is and let people try to figure out the math.
It's easy to sing 104. Anything else starts to get a little clumsy.
Yes. Well, it was 270 days. It doesn't work.
If you have two questions, don't say that you have two questions. Because they're going to shut you down.
Nice shirt.
Have you ever thought of like maybe school ending for an episode and having Doofenshmirtz as the teacher and like them trying to make it fun?
Wow. We have thought of that exact thing.
Let's just be clear. We
You know, we like to just hang out with our family, I think. It's like by the time I get home, I'm pretty exhausted. I just want to see my daughters and my wife and hang out.
Surfing with my son. Just best thing ever.
Yeah, I love spending time with my kids too. That's probably number one. No, I don't know, I just kind of do normal, like, stuff. I just like go home and play basketball sometimes.
Car drag racing.
A lot of drag racing, but I race for pink slips because I'm just like Vin Diesel.
And Allison, you teach a class, or?
Yes, in a couple hours. If you guys want to take hip-hop in North Hollywood, I'll be teaching there. That's what I do in my free time, is dance.
Oh, wow.
I like to sing. Yeah. I just finished my CD, so if you want to come buy it, I'm selling it tomorrow after the Adventure Time Encyclopedia Middle.
Thank you for the nice words on the back of that. It's really sweet. You got a nice dedication.
You did.
Now she's going to have to put some nice words on the back of it. So it's the undercurrent there. And Dave, what are you doing?
I like to take pictures of bugs and flowers. And I'm serious, I really like bugs and flowers a lot. And if you want to see them, I'm on Instagram at instagram.com/dbradleybaker. And it's all kinds of pictures of bugs and flowers that I take around when I walk around my house and in my neighborhood and in my backyard. I love
His house is just infested.
And occasionally you get the shot of his bug bite. You know?
And I like it that way. That's how I like it.
No, it's really great photography. You should check it out.
Hi guys. So one of my favorite episodes is Tri-Stone area.
That's my daughter's favorite too.
Like it just depends on the
There's
show's
the
format
writer
and how you guys understand it. Like no dialogue. And so like with the format, having such a familiar format and over 100 episodes, like how do you guys stay creative and stay fresh?
We don't. We've run out of ideas.
We're embracing the staleness of it all.
Ideas are not a finite thing. When we first got picked up for like 26 episodes, we were like, that's however many stories that is. I'm
26 episodes, 52 stories. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do?
And we ended up, the more stories you tell, the more those lead to other stories. It's sort of a self-generating thing. One will give you an idea for another.
Hi, I was wondering if D. Baker can make sounds that Appa and Momo make from Avatar.
Oh, yeah, I can. Avatar, the Last Airbender, and Legend of Korra. I do the animal sounds on that show, and I was also the voice of Tarlok on Legend of Korra. So, Momo, the flying lemur, is... And Appa, the flying sky bison, is...
My son, though, his favorite is when Dee does the little man that lives inside his mouth. Can you do that one?
Never seen you do that.
It just kind of shocks people. There's no use for it.
I think you just found the use today.
How do you guys make the characters? Do you draw them on paper, or do you make costumes?
We used to draw them on paper, and you draw 24 different drawings for every second. Now we draw them primarily, here we draw them on a computer screen. We have a glass computer screen that when you draw it with a pencil, it's just like drawing on paper, and that way we don't have to scan it in. And you can draw a whole bunch of them, and we're saving trees. But it's all still drawn by hand the old-fashioned way.
Are you guys gonna make an episode where Perry he's not a secret agent anymore? They kick him out or something like that?
aren't going to kick him out of Alka anytime soon, but there is an episode where he's
interesting developments.
Yeah, where he becomes separated from Alka in a way that's interesting.
I think this is the last one.
And don't forget to breathe when you're asking questions.
Thanks to my two sons, we've been watching the show for years. And I have one question I've been trying to figure out is the sibling relationship. We have two siblings that are natural, Candace and Phineas. How does Ferb get in the middle of those two? Was there an extramarital affair there?
We've always said that we're not going to probably ever tell what happened to the other parents because we just don't think that's what the story is about. But when they were young, when Phineas and Ferb were both toddlers, Ferb's dad and Phineas's mom got together, and they're a blended family, and that's sort of the only family we've really ever known. So they just called them mom and dad, and it just felt like that was the kind of family.
Didn't want all of that, the rest of that story to be the story. It's just about them being a very happy, blended family.
It's all explained in Candace's song, Little Brother.
Yeah.
Yes, it's actually.
He's right. Little Brother. I've seen every episode.
You're younger, we're related, and you're boys.
Yes. You will always be my little brother because of those facts.
Don't say little facts.
This is here, last question.
Last question, okay. Better be good.
Pressure's on.
No pressure.
Anyways, what made you do what you do today? Like, how did you start and what made you want to do what you're doing on Phineas and Ferb?
Complete unsuitability for any other career.
I've tried almost everything else that you can think of. The list of jobs that I did up until the age of 28 is ridiculously long and varied. And I just found I hated all other work. And so I quit a job. Fortunately, I could draw well enough to get a job in animation about 3 months later, and I've been deliriously happy ever since.
I really enjoyed making funny voices and probably annoying everyone I met for a while because of that. But it ended up paying off a lot because if I wasn't doing funny voices from a very young age, I wouldn't be here right now in the show.
Yeah, I've grown up dancing, singing, and acting, and I get to utilize all of these skills in this show. So I got to go, I had the privilege of going on the audition for Phineas and Ferb. I count myself privileged, lucky, blessed, I'm the lucky child to be a part of something like this, and I'm gonna stick it out for as long as they'll keep me. It's so fiery! Me too, just being good family friends with these guys, and
We've known Olivia since she was in a car seat, since she was an infant.
And they just knew about my singing and all that stuff, and gave me a shot. Here I am, so very lucky.
I think I got to doing what I'm doing by continuing to do things I like to do. And that's, in a nutshell, what I think people should do, is when you're a kid, I think you have a lot of opportunities to start doing things that you don't like, but that you're good at. And I would advise against that. I think you should always be doing things that you like and find the things that you like to do that you're good at and follow that. So never stop doing things that you really love to do. That is the secret.
We've got a bunch of our crew that are in the audience, and I want all you guys to stand up, because we could not do this.
Okay, these guys are signing autographs in the signing area, starting at 2:30 to 4, in the signing area AA05.
AA05.
Does it cost money, or do you need a special ticket to get into this?
Show up.
Let's get to the right.
If you have an unpleasant demeanor, you don't get an autograph.